Mogul Motivation, educating and empowering entrepreneurs 1 week at a time. Presented by True Stories Media. And I am your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm happy that you are here. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur who is trying to get over that hump and make things happen. This podcast is for anybody with a dream that wants to aspire higher and accomplish those dreams. I don't ask for any money. I only ask for two things. Number one, if you find anything beneficial in this podcast, please pass it on to somebody in your network. Bring me a friend. Bring me somebody else that can subscribe and benefit from this podcast as well. And number two, please leave a review. Let me know what you love about the content. Let me know what you would like to hear in the content in future episodes. Today's episode, I want to talk about something that we all deal with, which is looking back. As entrepreneurs, as dream chasers, as people with ambition, we can't get caught up in the trap of looking back, ladies and gentlemen. I suffer from it a lot, and I'm still suffering from it to this day. But, you know, it's an ongoing process that we have to master and that we have to get better at. We cannot look back. As entrepreneurs, we're always going to make mistakes. We have made plenty of mistakes in the past that have hurt us, that have hurt our businesses, that have, gave us setbacks. And, when you have ambition, we tend to beat ourselves up. We're our own worst critics, our own worst enemy. So we kind of focus on all of the mistakes and all of the bad decisions that we have made in the past. And we can never get over those humps. We can't let that baggage go. So things from the past that damaged us are still damaging us now in the present. And we cannot get caught up in that trap of constantly looking back. Nobody is perfect on this earth. And for most of the people who listen to this podcast, most likely you're a solopreneur, meaning you're the only person in your business. You're the CEO, the CFO, the marketing manager, the customer service rep. You're all of those things. You might have one or two people that's assisting you, but nevertheless, you are the business. So whenever we make a mistake, it's going to happen. We are human. Nobody on this earth has ever been perfect in business, in anything that they have desired and that they have pursued. So we can't continue to beat ourselves up over things that we have done. Yes, we messed up our credit. Yes, we made bad financial decisions. Yes, we have done things, that we shouldn't have done when dealing with customers or clients. But nevertheless, we can't beat ourselves up, and we can't let those things continue to hinder us in the present. Instead of focusing and instead of looking back on all the things we did wrong, let's reminisce and reflect on all the things that we did right. So those things can continue to motivate us and continue to tell us that we are on the right track and we're going to continue to get better. Without mistakes, you can't get better. Without mistakes, you can't ever become a better entrepreneur, a better businessman, or businesswoman. You have to fail, you have to trip, you have to stumble at some point in order to learn the lesson that you had to learn in this journey. That's just the reality, and that's just life. That's just facts, ladies and gentlemen. Do not look back. And I'm not trying to get biblical, but the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, when the angels told Lot and his family that he had to evacuate the city immediately because the city was about to be destroyed by God. The one instruction that they told them was, do not look back. And what did Lot's wife do? She looked back. And as a result of looking back, she turned to salt. Whenever we look back, we continue to wound ourselves, and we continue to open up those wounds, and we don't allow ourselves to heal. And that's the reality in business and in life in general. If I'm going to be honest, we have to stop looking back and we have to start focusing on the future, focusing on the present and focusing on the future, because what we're living in now in the present is what matters. We got here despite the mistakes that we made in the past. And yet we're still here. We're still building our business. We're still in business. We still have another day to accomplish our dreams. So despite all of the mistakes we made in the past, and yet we're still here. So we have to relish in the present. We have to focus on what's going on today. We have to focus on getting through this day, making enough sales this day, doing the best we can this day in our career and in our business. And then we have to continue to focus on our future goals. Where do we want to be a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years, 10 years from now? We cannot change the past, but we can control what happens today, and we can control what happens tomorrow. Despite the mistakes that we will make today, despite the mistakes that we will make in the future, we can still control the future. So that's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Do not look back. Yeah, you made some mistakes in the past. I made a lot of mistakes in the past, in my business and my personal life. And you have too, I'm sure. But nevertheless, do not look back. Don't focus on that. Relish in the present. Focus on the future. And we will be successful. We will accomplish our goals. So let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. And no matter what happens today, never forget that you are in control of today and tomorrow. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you next week.